just heard your
Like,
dog.
so much. I know.
We're done, guys.
Yeah, like right now, it's like they're starting to be not very nice.
Yeah. Again, like we said in our first hour, we are. Oh my god! I just opened my can and it didn't open. What do I do? What do I do?
Screwdriver, bam.
I'm alive. I don't have a screwdriver.
Next drink.
So Dawn will be catching up with us shortly, but for this hour, we are actually having on Trevor Gordon from Epilepsy South Central Ontario, which is one of the charities. So again, do not forget to donate. That's what this is all for. So here I am. I'm going to welcome on Trevor. Hello, Trevor.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, everyone.
Whatever time it is, I don't know. Time has no meaning anymore.
Officially, I guess.
We've done this for 3 hours already, guys. We're a fifth of the way there. I don't know, something like that.
Would you mind if I said something real off the top
Of
here?
course, whatever you want to say, it's good for you.
I watched several podcasts. I listened to several podcasts. I've been part of several podcasts, but I can't say. I mean, I've learned so much in the past 2 hours on this podcast that I feel that I've ever learned on any other. I know how to do my makeup now. I think I know about, particular dating habits. I'm trying to be professional in my segment. But, I mean, I wouldn't mind. I would understand. I think my boss would understand if you want to give up my hour to extend that previous conversation a little bit longer. Because it was really...
It's important.
Again, reminder to everyone, we are an explicit podcast. This is why I made this a little 18 plus. We'll be a little bit more professional for Trevor's segment, but the conversation goes where it goes. Our money is good. That's all that matters.
It was just good insight. I mean, I'm in a happy relationship, but me and my girlfriend are going to do Santa Claus photos at the mall. So it was just interesting insight before we do that photo op with
Mrs. Claus, top tier.
Santa. Yeah, you know what Santa to be as, right? Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I just want to point out that when that Trevor has been on our podcast 2 other times. So of course, make sure to check out those episodes. Trevor, welcome on. We're very happy. This is all live, so I'm gonna keep an eye on the chat. So chat, if you have any questions about epilepsy or supports in Ontario, feel free to put them there because we will answer them.
And as promised, I wanted to show my tree off.
Yeah, it's so pretty. I just brought it in from the living room.
I don't even have it. I'm just hiding my wall, so you can't see my dogs or my room. That's how festive I am for you guys. Is I just
hard work.
Yeah, that was all for real.
I actually wrote up my personal experience with my son and his epilepsy and everything like that. And that just got posted recently on the Epilepsy South Central Ontario website, which is awesome. I really appreciate that opportunity to share our story out there.
Let me turn the table on you. How did it feel doing that assignment or that project? How did it feel doing that?
It was really, I guess, weird, being able to, trying to condense almost years of kind of what's been going on and what led to this, what that led to this. And then almost you forget that oh yeah, we've been through all of this. This is so much to try to talk about, but when it's your life, it's almost desensitizing until you go back to focus on it. And I was oh yeah, oh my gosh, that's so much. It's a lot. It's a family disease. It affects everyone in your life. That's why we need to share our stories.
Did it give you maybe even a sense of relief? That not to say that you're not afraid to talk about the story, but you can now say, hey, well, you know what? Go to the website, read the story there. It's there. Not to say, of course, you can always talk about it in person, but now it's hey, you know what? I wrote that story. You can check it out there, and
Yeah, no, it's such a great, especially because it's written. So it's almost the way I tell the story can change over time by how I'm feeling that day even. But now that it's written there more permanent almost, it's this is how it is. So, yeah.
We started this campaign just because 1 in 100 Canadians have epilepsy. I say this until I'm blue in the face. This is not a rare condition, a rare disease. It might be a hidden disease, but it's not a rare disease. Over 300,000 Canadians have epilepsy, but it's just one of those diseases that, for whatever reason, people just don't talk about it. So you being kind enough to write your story, I'm trying to get as many people to share their story, whether it be in written form or in video form. You were kind enough to do both. We're just trying to get as many stories out there. Every story is different, and that's sort of the campaign that we're doing on our epilepsysco.org website. We want these stories to get put out there, that this is not a secret. Over 300,000 Canadians have epilepsy.
Like, and I don't know if you guys remember like Degrassi Junior High, but they did have one episode on there because the one girl has epilepsy, and of course they only show the one type of seizure, tonic-clonics, that were grand mals back then, and that kind of thing. And like I remember seeing that, going, "Oh my gosh, like anyone could have epilepsy," but I didn't even. From then, it's like you never see other types of seizures really in the media besides the big ones, you know. And it's so that's one reason it was missed in my son for so long, because I didn't know about it. Maybe if I had have known about different types of seizures, I would have recognized it earlier, you know. Like that's a question I always get in my head, like if I had have known, if I had have, you know. And I feel like other people can relate to that too. And
I appreciate that you're doing all this fun and great effort to fundraise, but I also want to remind you there's many ways to help us, even for free. So contact your local landmark wherever you are in the world and make sure that they make it purple for Purple Day on March 26th. You know, contact your local politician and simply ask them this question: why isn't epilepsy government funded? So we appreciate donations, but we also understand not everyone, you know, might have money to make a donation, but we appreciate ways of helping with creating the awareness. Even if you yourself don't have epilepsy, even if you don't know someone that has epilepsy, we need your help and your energy to help spread this awareness out there.
Yeah, we actually just got a comment. I was in a relationship with someone who has epilepsy, and it was so all-encompassing. However, it also exposed me to a different kind of care for another person, like being more present and paying more attention to what makes a person who they are, so that you can notice the sudden shifts and changes. Yeah,
that is a really good point. It's always interesting to hear the relationship aspect of epilepsy, because also, something we can bring up, Jessica, is you were at our family and youth conference, and what's good about that is, because as you know, epilepsy affects everyone, the partner, the sister, the brother, the aunt, the uncle. So, you know, I appreciate hearing that perspective from the partner side of it. It's just, you know, it's not easy, but I know it's appreciated when you get that support.
Yeah, like, you know, like I always worry about that, like, you know, about my son. Like I always worry that like in the future, like what if no one's there, or no one knows what to look for, or no one knows the first aid, or no one knows what, you know. It's always like those kind of questions. So even like bringing out that the awareness of it, it's like, this is what to do if someone has a seizure, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
I've said this before, I'll say it again. People with epilepsy are the strongest people I know. And I know some people will say that sounds like a movie line or something, but I've been around. I mean, in my job, I see seizures every day. You never get 100% used to it, but I think I'm more comfortable, if you can say comfortable with it, than maybe the average person. But when I've helped people when they're having a seizure in front of me, and you know, I'm doing all the right things, pushing things out of the way, putting a pillow if it's available underneath the person's head, and when the person comes to, many times they've said, "Trevor, are you okay?" They're asking me, the person with epilepsy, after they've had a seizure, am I okay? Because this is part of their life. They're used to it. They're actually many people with epilepsy are more concerned about the caregiver, you know, and what they're doing to help them. And I'm just like, I'm fine. I'm okay. Thank you for asking. But, you know, are you okay? And it's kind of like, this is just like breathing. It's part of their life.
Yeah. Sorry. My cat is not wanting to stay inside my room. Yes, I hear you.
Yes, and I just want to say, like, your organization has been amazing. Not
this
just
is live, everyone.
not just in Ontario, but the epilepsy organizations in Canada. So Trevor, the beginning of the year, you I was having issues and you directed me to epilepsy here in the New Brunswick area and who to contact there. And they were absolutely amazing. They helped advocate for my child to get care in our province because we didn't have like a family doctor and no one would refer us. So they referred us to like this amazing doctor, and it was not, again, why education is so important. It wasn't epilepsy like the hospital, the OR, the emergency room said it was. Psychological, a way to disassociate. So I think education for all, just doctors, also in anyone in the health area, because
our doctor, part of our story is our doctor misdiagnosed it as tics for 2 years. Like that,
even the medical professionals are not educated enough, and I feel like that's why writing, even if you can't donate money, like writing to politicians as often as you can to say, hey, like this is important because like it's another way to support, because there's so much misdiagnosing and missing the actual epilepsy and seizures. So thank you to Trevor also and fellow epilepsy centers who can.
Someone did put a question. They just said, has a discovery been made to understand why or how epilepsy occurs? Because their ex had a sudden occurrence at 18 years old that got worse with age, while the sister had epilepsy as a young adult and then never had epilepsy. And I feel like if you have a brain, you can have a seizure. So that's part of, it can be genetic. It can be a bunch of things. It can be head injury. It can be, there's a million reasons that can lead to it. But that's epilepsy is just having seizures without, you don't necessarily know the cause sometimes. I mean, most seizures, I feel like they don't know the cause. I feel like that's the percentage.
It's an ongoing, research. Like that's the thing. It's not an easy short answer, unfortunately, but it can be caused by many things. And there are 24 epilepsy agencies across Canada. So whoever can hear this here in Canada, there's an organization called the Canadian Epilepsy Alliance, and it's the umbrella of all the agencies across Canada. If you are looking for support in your part of Canada, you can just go to that website. If you live in the US, there's the Epilepsy Foundation, and they have many, many organizations across the US. You can contact them. Again, I can't speak for the whole world, but I'm assuming if you just type in the word epilepsy and put your country beside it, you hopefully will find something. But for sure, I can speak on the US and Canada. There is many organizations there, and they're there to help you in any way possible. But again, these organizations are offering programs and services for free. So we need the help. We rely on, fundraisers. We rely on the odd grant that we get here and there. We rely or appreciate when there's great people like yourselves here that do these type of fundraisers, third-party events. So we appreciate that. But we're asking the government for funding, in Ontario specifically, and the budget that we submitted to the government, it's all in black and white on Epilepsy Ontario's website if you ever want to look at it. We're asking the government for $3 million. We've been told that's considered finding $5 in your couch, by the way.
Yeah, no, for sure. Considering all the things the Ford government has defunded, I feel like that money should be found anywhere. It's not a lot. $3 million in a government budget. It is not for a medical thing. We're supposed to have universal health care. And whenever I explain to people that, epilepsy, besides a hospital visit or your neurology appointment, which is hard to get in the first place, that's all out of pocket. Your meds can be out of pocket. If you're over the age of 25 and don't have insurance, for the country that's known for universal healthcare, it's not very universal.
And part of the reason for our ask, by the way, is actually to save the taxpayers money. That money is to fund 14 epilepsy agencies, by the way. It's not to fund one agency. In Ontario alone, there's 14 epilepsy organizations. With that $3 million, we're hoping to increase the staff so that we can offer more programs and services, again, free of charge to people living with epilepsy. But the most important piece that we've talked about is education. Telling people that you don't have to call 911 every time someone has a seizure. So we're actually trying to help so that the emergency room is not filled up with people that just have had a seizure when there's actually people in the emergency room for other reasons, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because a lot of people don't realize that. Like, of course, like if you have no epilepsy experience and you see someone have a seizure, call the ambulance. Like, sure. But like, again, you know, a lot of seizures don't require an ambulance call. It's usually only if it's like the first seizure or it's lasted longer than 5 minutes, or they hit their head or something on the way down, or that kind of thing. You know, most of the time, if it's someone that's living with epilepsy, they know what to expect. They'll come out of it. It's just making sure they're not choking, making sure they're in a safe space, my son has myoclonic seizures. Those don't require any first aid. You know, they just happen.
Sorry, I was choking. I apologize.
That's okay.
I was like, need like
I've been
first aid.
choking.
I appreciate the mute button on here, and I was coughing just as you were talking about choking, so I appreciated that.
Well, like Epilepsy South Central Ontario has a TikTok page, an Instagram, a Facebook. So be sure to follow them all there and share their content. They do education like Mondays, where they post information every Monday about different things, especially serious conversations like SUDEP that people don't talk about enough, I feel like. But I was on there to talk about how you don't put anything in someone's mouth when they're having a seizure. They're not going to swallow the tongue, I promise.
Yeah, can we talk about that, actually?
Yeah.
Can everyone, like, I mean, again, we learned from John how to put makeup on, and that was great, helpful tool. I now know how to do my makeup now because of that. Like, can we all try right now to swallow our tongue?
Yeah, good.
Like,
luck.
I understand you can bite your tongue. I can understand, you know, we can stick our tongue out, but it's impossible to swallow your tongue. So when you see somebody having a seizure, you don't need to put something in their mouth to prevent them from swallowing their tongue. Yes, they might bite it, but they're not going to swallow their tongue. I promise you.
We promise. So yeah, it's more dangerous if you put something in their mouth. So don't do that. You've learned a little bit, guys. I hope you all appreciate.
And Jessica came into our office and she did many, many recordings that I have in my bank of archive of video that will come out in the next few weeks or early in the new year. But she did some great clips for our little documentary that will probably be playing at our Purple Gala. But she also was kind enough to do some TikTok videos. And you can tell that she has a bit of experience doing this because she was a one-take wonder every time. She nailed it every time.
There was a couple times I'd get into my own head and I'd be like, okay, let's just do it again. Go. Just go.
Oh, it was great. So, I mean, I appreciate that. And this is what we're looking for. Again, we appreciate donations through this podcast or through our website. But again, I realize that money can be tight and that not everyone can make a donation. But I mean, help us with maybe using your social media platforms to bring attention to why epilepsy should be spoken about. Help out with, if you know someone that has epilepsy, to, you know, have them share their story. Or if you have epilepsy, share your story. Like the stories and getting them out there and creating awareness, you can't put a dollar value to that, you know? So as much as we want the donations and we appreciate those donations, we want the awareness.
Yeah, and I just want to add that like Epilepsy South Central Ontario like has been such a great resource for like me and my son. Like my son like we got to spend time in the Blue Jays care building, so my son got to go see a baseball game and stuff like that. We got to go to the family and youth conference where my son got to meet other kids that like have epilepsy. He was part of they also run a day camp that he was also a part of when he was younger, so he got to witness other kids have seizures, which I feel like when you have seizures, you don't get to witness yourself. And I feel like that's almost like such a great I mean, I feel bad. Obviously, there's other people having seizures, but it's great for someone else to be able to witness that, especially because my son was bullied a lot for his seizures. So it was great for him to almost like be able to be on the other side and see and kind of like get that gauge of like what's happening and what's, that kind of thing. And it's just there's so many great resources, and they do all that without government funding. Can you imagine what they would do with? Like, it's a lot, So.
Has your son been to a Blue Jay game prior to that game?
No, I think that was his first and only.
Can we talk about that the first time he's ever been to a Blue Jay game, he got to go to a box and he got to meet Ace? It only goes down from here.
Yeah, I know. We can't take him to a regular game anymore. He'll be like confined. He'll be like, I need to walk around. I need to move. It's like, sorry, you're stuck in the seat.
His first Blue Jay experience was getting to meet the Ace, the Jays mascot, getting fed for free, having a bathroom right convenient, close to everyone. There was games, there was everything.
There was activities. He got bored of the baseball game, so he went and did coloring pages for a bit and stuff. Like, it was such an amazing experience. He had we have the foam finger from Epilepsy South Central Ontario with 1 in 100. It was such a great experience. So yeah, like if you're in Southern Ontario and you know anyone with epilepsy, definitely point them to this resource and donate when you can. Donate either to us for a chance to win prizes, donate to them directly if you want the tax receipt, especially. So yeah, and share. And like I said, every Monday they post information, which I always try to like reshare and retweet and stuff like that, because you never know who's looking.
Your Christmas tree and my Christmas tree remind me that gifts need gift wrapping. And our CEO, David Charchelis, who Jessica, you have met, he is awesome. He's the best gift wrapper I know. He is going to be doing gift wrapping at Shoppers World in Brampton. Carly Smith, who you've met, Jessica, is at Square One in Mississauga doing gift wrap, as well as, of course, hardworking volunteers for many of the schools here in our coverage area. And if you need your gift wrap and you happen to be in Brampton or you happen to be in Mississauga, please bring your gifts. And 100% of those donations are going to our Sunny Days Camp. Sunny Days Camp is a camp for children living with epilepsy. And with Sunny Days Camp, it's not a camp just for the person that has epilepsy. You have a brother, you have a sister, a cousin, they're more than welcome to come to that camp as well. I find with a lot of camps that are specific to a condition or a disease, it's only for that person. We realize epilepsy affects the whole family. We don't want to isolate the one person. We want everyone to feel that they can come to that. So that's what it's called, Gift Wrap for Epilepsy. Come to that mall, the malls in your area, and we would love to wrap your gifts.
That's a great cause. Even autism more affects us, and they only allow children with newer diagnosis. So once you know one of your kids have a diagnosis, you can easily tell the rest. But it's often only one child. But it's $10,000 for me to get the rest. You think an organization would put that into consideration, and so for the epilepsy being okay, so this affects your siblings as well, although differently. Everyone should be included. It's a family bonding. This is a family experience, even though it's the one person who is experiencing it. It is the whole family, and I think that's absolutely amazing that that's being taken into consideration.
Yeah. No, it was amazing. I mean, it was the first time my son got to meet other people with other disabilities, because generally epilepsy isn't just a one-off. There's very you can just have epilepsy, but there's a lot of people there's a lot of illnesses that are comorbid with epilepsy, a lot of diseases, a lot of neurodivergence is very comorbid with epilepsy. So I think the first time my son even got to talk to autistic people was when he went to Sunny Days, because they also had epilepsy, and it turns out he's also autistic, and we figured that out. via these other diagnoses. But it was, I think it's always great to me when kids can experience other people's living situations. You know, if you never meet disabled people.
Yeah. Kids need to learn by seeing and living that experience. Like, adults sure can just be told something just because we know how to process information better, but children need to live it to be able to understand that, oh, I'm not alone. There's other people like this, or, oh, look at these people whose lives are like this. Like, how can I support them? Like, children won't learn by just getting information. They need to live it.
Yeah.
Jessica, can I shout out your son for a second?
Of course.
You're probably biased. You probably love him a million %. But there was a couple times where, I was running around during that family and youth conference. And I mean, I tried my hardest to always be in a good mood and not be tired and not, because, I want to be happy. But there was a couple times where I was feeling blah and down. And your son cheered me up so many times. So, I was sitting at a park bench. I never had a chance to tell you this, Jessica, but it was around the rock climbing, or not the ropes and the climbing. And I was just sitting on a bench, and your son was just sitting there, and he was just like, "So how's it going?" He was just talking to me. I'm like,
he's
what?
Such a great kid.
Yeah.
He didn't want to do the climbing, so he was sitting there. So he was like, "Oh, hey, I can have a conversation."
I appreciate it. We don't force anyone to do things they don't want to do, and he's allowed to enjoy the conference how he wants to enjoy it. And I just appreciated having someone to actually just sit and have a chat with. And he initiated the conversation, and I liked it, and he cheered me up.
He is such a great linguistics. He has such a great grasp on dialogue that when he talks, he tries to use the word, bigger words than other kids his age, I feel like. At least that's what the teachers say. So yeah, no, that's amazing. The pictures we actually used in the story were from Purple Day. I don't know if you could grasp that. We kind of went during the daytime. So we have in Hamilton, Ontario, we have the giant Hamilton sign that lights up purple on Purple Day, which if you don't know, that's for epilepsy awareness. And one year, the year I think we first got his diagnosis, we actually went and we took photos there. It was kind of daytime because we had a baby and everything like that. So you can't quite fully see the purple at its best, but it was amazing. So I just wanted to let you know if you have a landmark in your area, let them know and light up purple for Purple Day, because it's a great photo op.
Can you say that day again?
So March is Epilepsy Awareness Month in Canada, and then Purple Day is on March 26th, which is a date the whole world celebrates. If you're in the epilepsy community, Jessica could probably vouch for this. There's so many different dates that even for me, it's a little confusing, a little overwhelming. But I know Epilepsy Awareness Month is in November in the US, Canada's March. Well, at least with March 26th, that's the one date I think we all agree on is Purple Day. And Cassidy Megan, who is sort of our celebrity in the epilepsy community, she started that date when she was 8 years old. And it's the whole world. So landmarks all over the world get lit purple for Purple Day. So we need your help. You have a landmark in your area. I can help. If you need help, I can give you all the press releases, all the wording, but just contact your local landmark and ask them if they can light their landmark purple.
If you let us know, we can post that on all our social medias and everything like that. Give people easy access to how to get that started in their local area if they don't have that yet. My son's birthday is actually 5 days before Purple Day, so it was just perfect timing, I guess.
I'd like to pose a question into the chat room if everyone's listening. Has anyone heard of a myth about epilepsy? What myths have you heard about epilepsy? We've talked about one that, about your tongue, but I'm just curious. If there's not any, that's good. But I always hear one myth. If you've heard a myth, put it in the chat, and I'd love to discuss it with the time that we have left. But myths frustrate me, but it also at least encourages a teachable moment.
It's a good jumping off point.
Yeah, the biggest myth you always hear is flashing lights will always trigger a seizure.
4%.
And that's one of the rare. Yeah, it's
4%. I mean, we appreciate when there are warnings put ahead of movies and commercials or on social media. We appreciate that there is that warning if you happen to have that type of epilepsy, that type of seizure, but it is only 4% of people living with epilepsy are affected by flashing lights. And not everyone is affected by the 4% that are affected, it's not the same for everyone. Some people can still go to a concert. Some people can still watch the Super Bowl halftime show. You know what I mean? So again, we really appreciate when movies like Disney and all these different organizations offer the warnings, but again, it's 4%.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, my son has a very photosensitive epilepsy, but he can play video games, he can watch movies. Like, that's not it. Like, his is so photosensitive that even lights shining through like branches, like that flickering can set him off sometimes. Not so much like his video games and stuff. So whenever I'm like telling teachers, it's like, no, he can watch this. Like, it's not
Yeah.
like I have to explain it every time. I mean, one of the things I hate that is starting to lessen is when a lot of people thought a lot of people called them fits. And that kind of thing. A lot of people thought it was a moral failing, even as recently as like, I think last year, some like priest or something got in trouble for like trying to summon the demon out of someone that had epilepsy. It's like, no, dude, they need a doctor.
So yeah, that's a good one. I've heard that for sure.
We got a myth. People with epilepsy will smell burnt toast or some other odd odor before a seizure hits.
I don't know. I mean, you get auras, and Jessica, you could probably obviously speak with experience about your son, but I haven't heard that. And if that's happened, maybe that's a coincidence. We saw
the commercials growing up, the like warning, oh, if it's burnt toast, you're about to have a seizure, catch them.
And that's along the side of, this is just from my research, because that was a Canadian heritage moment.
Yeah.
They did one of the first like brain things while the woman was awake, so they could touch the parts to figure out where the seizure was happening, where she smelled burnt toast. But it's an aura. So like, some people will smell burnt toast. Some people will feel a certain way. Some people will get tingles. Some people will get, like, your aura is different. It's not always burnt toast.
That's what I mean. I guess that's what I mean by the myth. Like, there's no black and white. Like, everyone has their aura in different ways. But to kind of say you are for sure going to smell burnt toast, or your dog is for sure going to bark, or like, like it's not. And so back to your point about the fit, terminology in the epilepsy community is such a huge pet peeve of mine, and that could be a segment in itself to talk about the terminology. I mean, my full disclosure, I myself do not have epilepsy, but I would never define a person as with epilepsy and call them epileptic. If you have epilepsy and you want to say you're epileptic, I would not stop you from saying that. But to me, epilepsy does not define you. I would say you're a person with epilepsy, or I would just say, what's your actual name? You know what I mean? You don't say someone with cancer is cancerous, right? So
yeah, you're just like, hey, person.
But yeah, I would love to. I could send you for a future post just terminology in the epilepsy community, because I know many people that have epilepsy get actually quite offended when you call them epileptic. Epileptic is to define the actual condition, the disease. It's not something that you say a person is.
I feel like people get confused because, like, I'll say autistic, like someone's autistic, because I view that as a neurodivergence. It's the way your brain is. It's the way you are. It's who you are as a person. It's part of you. Versus someone with epilepsy, it's an illness. It's something that affects you and in a certain way. So it's like, I could be an autistic person with epilepsy. It's so I feel like a lot of people, like, with person first language, like, it varies depending on what it is. And also, people can self-define however they want to self-define. But yeah, I'm the same way. I would say my autistic son has epilepsy. Like, it's very And my biggest pet peeve is when doctors I'm talking to use terms like grand mal and petite mal. And I'm like, you're the fucking doctor.
Doctors are like, we say it a lot on our show that we find that doctors are people who failed upwards. It's annoying. It's frustrating. And I feel so bad for parents who keep getting pushed around, pushed aside for any type of diagnosis. And the misdiagnosis of seizures or the not diagnosing. For the longest time, my son was not diagnosed with ASD. It was, he might be having seizures. So again, like that's a pediatrician saying these things. Like, you specialize in finding issues with children. So there needs to be so much more education and advocacy for epilepsy and the work you guys are doing. So this really important fundraising we're doing now, please donate. If you don't want to donate to us, donate to epilepsy directly. Or if you can't donate money at the moment, just spread the word, share links, follow them on social media, and share whatever information they're sharing with you.
You know what my problem is with the internet?
Continue.
I love the internet because, look, it's bringing us all together, and it makes it's the fuel to make this podcast work. If we didn't have internet, this would not be possible.
It's true.
But the problem is, terminology, things change. But you know what happens? The old information sits on the internet. So, grand mal seizure, as you touched on, Jessica, is still kicking around. When you Google what epilepsy is, sometimes you see a million different definitions of what epilepsy is. For me, I think I have a little bit of OCD, and it's probably good for my nature, my role, being media communications and all that. But it bothers me, it frustrates me if I was told by neurologist that you've been diagnosed with epilepsy, and then you go to Google Dr. Google, and you start looking about epilepsy, and you see 100 different wrong, outdated information. And I don't like to put age to things. I'm not a young 20 years old myself.
We're not young either. Don't worry about it.
I feel like there are neurologists out there that don't want to learn new information, I feel. You might have someone straight out of university and knows all the latest things, and then you have a neurologist that's been doing it for 50 plus years, and they're telling someone with epilepsy, oh, you have grand mal. So it's... if I have epilepsy and you're being told by a neurologist what you have, or that epilepsy isn't considered a disease and all these things, education is key.
It's called tonic-clonic, and petite mal is actually absences. So like there's different, and there's myoclonic. There's a million different, there's like 20 plus different types of like seizure terms. So definitely look that up. There's focal, there's generalized. Those are different. Focal specific parts of the brain. Generalized is the whole brain. If you have one type of generalized seizure, you're more likely to have more. Absences and tonic-clonics are generalized. So if you have one, you're more likely to have the other. There's so much. There's so much information.
There's over 40 types of seizure.
40
types, So it's not just the ones that you see in movies or TV shows, and there's one particular, there's some seizures where everyone thinks of the ones you're just shaking on the ground. There's many where you just stop talking. It's like, the best way I can describe it is like when you're watching a movie and you put it on pause and then you hit play again, so that's
what I say with my son's seizures. I always say, imagine it like you're talking to someone through a broken phone, because his will only last for a couple seconds. So he might be in and then out and then in and then out. So like, imagine you're talking to someone through broken communication. That's what he's getting right now when he's going through it. So you might have to repeat yourself, like.
Epilepsy Shop. One thing I want to talk about.
Yeah, the commercial's been playing every hour. So
I've seen that, and it's been great. And by the way, I love all the other commercials on there too. I've watched it a few times around, and it's like, Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm going to be biased and say I like ours the best, but a lot of those commercials have been really fun to watch. Like,
yeah, a few of them are from our guests coming up as well. Gray's Tap Room, Sledgehammer Horror, 2 Cent Critic,
Part-time gamer.
Yeah, so these amazing people we've like got to interact with too throughout our podcasting, and we're so grateful for them to coming on
Life
our show.
and Death on the Rim.
Well.
I do voice act to Villa Gurner in that series. So I do want to point out. Hold on, let me.
Bring it up.
Shirt, I'll bring it up.
Yeah.
So we started Epilepsy Shop in November 2020, and we started it because we were frustrated with when you would Google epilepsy merchandise, the money was never going to actually epilepsy organizations. So we started this organization November 2020, and 100% of the proceeds from any shirt that you buy, it goes to actual epilepsy organizations. And what you see here, what Jessica's holding, we love purple, but there's other colors out there that.
There's other colors.
They donated this to the cause, so we are very, very appreciative. So thank you so much, and I love this. Like, my brain can do anything. So yeah.
If you do want to go on the website and make a purchase, at the checkout, you can use a discount code called 007. It's a win-win. One, it'll save you the tax. We don't like paying tax. So using the code will mean that you'll save 15% at checkout. And then the other plus is using that code means that the money 100% will go to our organization, being Epilepsy South Central Ontario. Full disclosure, there are just other discount codes to benefit other epilepsy organizations. So you can go on the website, you can click on About, and you'll see all the organizations and all their codes. So we encourage you to use 007 so it comes to us, but you can make a choice on whatever organization you want that to go to.
Yeah, I put it scrolling in the little banner there so people can easily remember. And yeah, like they have tons. My favorite, I think I'm going to buy one of the hoodies that says "Screw Epilepsy" with the big screw on it. I love that one. that one's pretty cool. But they have lots of great designs on there. So
that shirt, by the way, is the controversial shirt on our website. So
no wonder I like it. I'm a lush.
But I bring that up because we've gotten some, feedback saying, "Oh, why that shirt?" and why create that message. But full disclosure, guess what shirt is the #1 seller on our website? It's like when people said the Spice Girls were horrible. They were like the #1 band in a certain period, right?
Right.
So,
do not talk bad about the Spice Girls.
it would be like that group where no one said that they ever watched the Spice Girls, but yet they were, doing quite well. Everyone says that shirt is so horrible and it's a negative shirt, but it's the #1 seller. But that being said, if you don't want to have that type of message, there are shirts like Dear Epilepsy, there's Purple Warrior, there's I Love Somebody with Epilepsy, there's my brain can do anything. So if you don't feel like sending that negative message, so to speak, of saying that you don't feel like saying screw epilepsy, there are positive messaging on the website as well.
Yeah, if you're not like us, if you don't like controversy, you have other options.
I mean, we did want to say another thing instead of saying screw epilepsy, but we decided to keep with a little more on the safer side of things.
A little child friendly.
Not too controversial, just enough. I like the imagery because it has like a screw. I think I was like, oh yeah, like I like that. That's pretty cool. It's better than just like the purple ribbon. You got the screw, the purple ribbon, everything together. It's a lot more interesting, I think.
Our CEO David kind of threw an idea our way last week or the week before. Maybe instead of like something like help control epilepsy, and maybe have like a remote control or something like a controller. If people have ideas in the chat about a shirt, we're open.
Yeah, let us know. Like, you could be marketing for, it'd be good ideas. Lots of good ideas.
Yeah.
I'm
we
sure
always
someone will get
random
offended.
stuff on ours too. We're just like,
market it.
Market it. We're always just like, this is a great idea. Let's brainstorm.
We've never been afraid to give a free shirt out if someone gives us a good idea. A lot of times people have sent us really, really good ideas, and they send us an idea. We give them a shirt for their help. We give them the first shirt off the what do you call it? The conveyor belt, so to speak.
Yeah. I just want to say the Produce Stand podcast just said like they're a Canadian podcast, and they said once they had a guest on a podcast that had a seizure while they were recording, but it was a scary moment because it happened on Zoom, and because the guest was in the US, they felt powerless to help. Sometimes seizures just happen. If this person has epilepsy, then they probably just went through it, you know. Sometimes that's just part of the epilepsy. It's really scary to watch your first seizure, but after that, once you get kind of used to it, it's just part of normal life for them. So, you know, you just kind of, as the person just watching, you got the easy part. It might not feel easy, but
whereas my brain during that, when I was reading that, was like, did that get recorded? Can we use that? Can we send that to the neurologist, right? That's how my marketing thinks, is that person that got that, had the seizure probably is like, oh, can we, hopefully that was recorded so I could show it to my neurologist, you know? So
it's true.
There's some people that get scared with that. I would actually turn that into a positive, that actually helps create more awareness.
I don't know if epilepsy and narcolepsy are related in any way. Someone's just asking in the chat. They both have the Epsy thing, so I'm sure that probably means like brain.
I can admit when I don't know something and that stumps me, and I'm not going to pretend to even know the answer to that. I would encourage them to talk to a neurologist or a doctor for that one, or you can call the office and we can put Carly on the spot with that one. But I don't think there's a connection, but please do not quote me on that.
Other than that, it's the same organ, I guess. Yeah. Carly is amazing as well. She also works at Epilepsy South Central Ontario and has also been on an episode of our podcast with Trevor. So highly recommend you guys check out those episodes. We are ending up on the last 2 minutes, Trevor. So if there's anything else you want to say, now is the time to do it.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for giving us this platform. You did it last year and you're doing it this year. Thank you so much. Please sign me up for next year, please. But more importantly, I want to just say thank you to everyone. Even if you can't donate, just help us spread the word that epilepsy is not a rare disease. It's over 300,000 Canadians have it, and we do not get government funding. So if you yourself can't donate, you yourself can't fundraise, create a fundraising page so others can maybe help spread the word in any way possible.
Thank you so much. And again, you'll see the Epilepsy Shop commercial during our commercial break, but don't forget to use discount code 007. Make sure to, if you have any local landmarks in your area, make sure to message them. Let them know that March 26th is Purple Day worldwide. And if they can light it up a little purple, that helps spread awareness. Links are all in the description to the shop and to Epilepsy South Central Ontario, where you can read my personal story and my experience with epilepsy. So thank you again so much, Trevor. We appreciate you having come on, and we'll see you again next year.
Right. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And any episode throughout the year if you want to come on.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll probably have him on in March near Purple Day.
Yes, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.